This tutorial today, we're going to talk about the splicer and the kit that goes with the splicer. We do like to see that the splicing machines have the same tools in all of them in case another technician needs to use it. They know what to expect when they open up the case. The splicing machine that we use most often in our company is the Fujikara 70S and the 70R. There is a newer model out that's now the 70S Plus and the 70R Plus. They just added a few more features to those machines. But for today's tutorials, we'll talk about the 70S and the 70R. The case is very important. There's a lot of features about the outside of the case that need to come into consideration. It is a very utilitarian part of the actual use of the splicing machine. But as we open up the case, the first thing I'd like you to see is that on the top of here, you'll see these holes. These holes are designed to hold a tray that is within the machine, within the case. And then as well, you'll see these indentations. These indentations are for if you wanted to use the top of the case as a support. You put the splicing machine in these holes. It'll help to hold things steady. A lot of different people don't use this. We have people that do use this on a very regular basis. When you open up the case, the lid detaches so that you could potentially sit it on your legs to use in this particular way. As well, for the most part, we don't use it. Once you open up the case, you'll see several different items that should be in place in order to be able to travel well. For the presentation purposes, we are showing this splicing machine with two different types of cleavers inside of it for presentation and demonstration purposes only. Generally, each splice case will have one cleaver. This type of cleaver here is only different slightly in compared to this particular cleaver here. Sometimes a technician may have two cleavers available to them for the purposes of different types of fiber optic cable. If we're doing inside work, there's different ways that the cleaver has to be used. But for today's purposes, we're going to demonstrate the CT50 by Fujikara that comes with this particular kit. Also inside of your splice kit, you'll have a set of strippers. This particular type of stripper, which are in most of our cases now, and what we order for the technicians, are a 3-position stripper, and this is for the purposes of doing different types of fiber cable. For all intended purposes, we will be using the center section, or the very inside section here for stripping down our fiber. Key note, these are not used for cutting anything, and they are only used for the purposes of stripping down fiber, nothing else. If you use them for anything other than that, they're precisely adjusted in order to be able to strip only the cladding on the outside of the fiber cable. And if you use them for something other than that, that adjustment will go out and you'll struggle with getting the cladding to strip off from your fiber optics. The next item that you would see within this case would be the splicing machine. This is the machine itself, and we'll go through some of the basics of what are the parts of this machine within this tutorial. This is a platform that can be used, again, over the top of your legs in your lap if necessary. It has different spaces available for the purposes of using the fiber optic splicing machine within it. If the splicing machine was placed inside here, then you actually have a cooling tray in the back here for cooling off your splice tubes, shrink tubes. Once the finished fiber has had the shrink tube attached. There are other features within this that can hold the shrink tubes here. You can have different other items that might be available for just your quick reach. Again, this has the cutouts on the bottoms of it, so you can lay it on your lap, or this particular type of platform can be added to the top of the splicing case as an extension of the splicing case, just to give you a little more reach. Again, these are not normal ways that we would use these tools, but just giving you the options of what's available. Also within the case, you generally will have a power cord, a battery for the purposes of working without in situations where you don't have AC electrical power. And then as well, all cases will have a special charging cord in order to be able to charge that battery off from a power supply that is located in the base of the splicing machine. Generally, there's an ample amount of splice tubes, shrink tubes, fiber optic support membranes that are generally kept within the kit. Also within the kit, you will have this specialized metal brush. This is used very specifically in specific areas on the splicing machine itself. There's also generally a Phillips precision screwdriver available. We also keep in every splicing machine a pair of used electrodes and a pair of new electrodes. These happen to be used electrodes, and we can tell that they're used because it has a splice count written on them. Another item that's within the toolkit is this particular tray. Most of our guys don't use this, but it is available if you feel that it's convenient for you. This tray sits here. A lot of technicians, once they're using the machine, they'll use this to hold the shrink tube in advance of the splice while it's being spliced, and then when it's finished splice, the shrink tube's readily available. They can slide it over and put it up into the heater. We'll go over the actual functionality of the splicing machine in a later tutorial.